Alright guys, we have the books. First of all, there were a lot of books that I really wanted to get, but I was like, maybe for another video because I think 3 is perfect. I love how all these 3 books fit to the same size, to the same aesthetic in colors and kind of like genres. I didn't even read the back. I kind of just read the title. I was watching the booktubers get together. KB Fan mentioned how she never read an Abby Jimenez book before, and neither have I. So I was like, why don't I just start with Part of Your Worlds? I'm gonna read what it's about right now. Interesting. So there's a wild bat. It's kind of like rich and poor vibes. They get together. Alexis is a doctor, and then Daniel Grant is a carpenter. They're complete opposites, and then they meet and blah blah blah. So honestly, I love reading books like that. First of all, it's Jimenez. I don't know why I said Jimenez. Abby Jimenez, because she's Hispanic. Abby Jimenez is gonna be the first author that I read who's Hispanic in the romance genre. There's that. All I Want for Christmas, Maggie Knox. I saw a little cute doggy, and there's actually a lot of doggy-based Christmas books in the store, and I was like, I want them, but not right now. So I actually heard a lot about this book. It was a really popular Christmas book, and I never read it, so I was like, well, why don't I just get it? I really like what this book is gonna be about because I love to sing as a hobby, and so I like watching The Voice as well. Sadie and Max are selected as contestants on the famed reality singing show Star Maker. It's Christmas-based, and Hello was born in December. I love Christmas books. And then they have to fake the relationship for the public eye to win this contest. And hello, I love fake dating tropes. I'm gonna love this. Has a lot of things that I love. I hope I love it, actually. Let me say that. Always Be My Duchess by Mally Howard. I've heard a lot of people talk about this book, and I love like Bridgerton books, royalty type tropes, courting books. So I was like, maybe I really love this. I was actually like torn between thriller, historical romance, Christian-based books. But I was like, I'm already seeing a pattern with these books. I'm gonna go with these. What is it about? Ooh, another fake dating romance trope. Miss Genevieve saves the Duke's life, and the Duke's like cold-hearted. Genevieve's looking for a job. Benefits. Now I'm gonna go ask my sister which book should I read first.
So this one first, and then this one, and then this one. This one first because I feel like you should always start with like a positive thing, and I like always. Then this one is like you're about to finish your semester, so it's like a new world. And this one, Christmas is still not happening. So yeah.
I'm gonna be telling you what I think I'm gonna rate it. I think I'm gonna rate Always Be My Duchess 3.8. It's something about when I was reading the back of the book, I was like, I love this, but I don't know if I'm gonna love it. What it was gonna be about didn't really interest me specifically. All I Want for Christmas, I think I'm gonna rate this one a 4.8 out of 5. Not a 5 because you never know. The idea could be good, but then the storyline could be awful. Part of Your World, I'm probably gonna rate it a 4 out of 5. I don't know yet if I would give it a 5 because it doesn't really have a lot of information that catches my attention. I'm gonna tell you what a good rating for me is. A good rating for me is 4 and above. 3.8 is passing, but 4 and above is like, yes, I would recommend it to you. 3 and under is a book that I would never read again or never recommend to someone. So now that you know this, we're gonna go ahead and read this book. Starting off with Always Be My Duchess. I'll see you whenever I read it. Guys, I just finished reading the book. So first of all, to start off, I don't know if you saw my reaction. I love the beginning of the book because she's this very fierce, bold woman, and he's this cold-hearted but funny guy. It's kind of like love at first sight.
Alright guys, you're gonna have to be patient with me because I had no idea that my pony was not in front, so my hair was a mess and I hate it. But you know what? Please still watch.
This book actually gave me major Bridgerton vibes. It reminded me of The Duke and I and The Viscount Who Loved Me. I guess you could call this book a slow burn. The beginning of the book was really funny because she's just very bold, and that's why it kind of reminded me of The Viscount Who Loved Me. You know, she's bold. She tells the Duke off. It also reminded me of The Duke and I in the way that they have this chemistry that, you know, they always want to be next to each other. This book was very lustful. I normally don't like lustful books, and I still don't, but I really like the way that she describes it in the beginning. It wasn't like cringy at all, and it was more like a flirtatious type of thing. As soon as they have their moments, which you know every book has. There was literally like 3 chapters just full of smut and I was cringing the whole time, guys. I hate smut. I hate it. It makes me so uncomfortable. The flirtations that they pass to one another, I could manage that. I can get through that. It's not the writer's fault, right? But it's I just can't take it. Anyways, what got me a little upset is the woman was independent and she knew what she wanted and she was gonna have it her way no matter what. She protects her body, her family, and I love that. But then I felt like the Duke changed her and kind of made her rebel against her own self-respect, I guess you could say. The woman is also a ballerina. She's a dancer, so if you like dancing books, this was also really good in that. I love how she described the rhythms and everything like that. It was amazing. The writer has a beautiful sense of style that I really admire. It also deals with the history of woman oppression and things like that, so it was an interesting read. I don't really call lust love. I really wanted and expected more personalities and more talks than smut. That's okay. I'm gonna be giving this book 4 out of 5 stars, which is not bad. It's better than what I said I was gonna rate it, which is 3.8. So my first read is done.
Reading Song of Solomon.
Song of Songs is Hebrew love poetry that depicts the beauty and mystery of sexual love within the context of marriage, one of God's gifts to humanity. Literally everything I've been reading sounds exactly like this. But not exactly the first book did, especially since it's a historical romance. It kind of talked about it. But the current one I'm reading right now, which is Part of Your World, talking about making love a lot. Many interpret the book as a tale of the courtship and marriage of King Solomon and his beloved, while others view it as a fantasy about love between a man and a woman. I have taken off my robe. How can I put it on again? Huh. Here am I thinking like, oh my gosh, like what if someone from my church watches this video and they're like, I basically said I read a book that has lust in it and like lust is a sin, but it's like in the Bible. The way he's talking about her, the physical parts I get, like he's calling her beauty, her eyes, like okay, yeah, but then he's like her breasts. I will take hold of its branches. Let now your breasts be like clusters of the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and the roof of your mouth like the best wine. Ooh, that kind of rhymed though. Let now your breasts be like clusters of the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and the roof of your mouth like the best wine. Oh, yo, why haven't they made a musical about the Song of Solomon, huh? And actually, for Always Be My Duchess, I skipped like 3 chapters and talked about it because I did not want to read it at all. Sometimes I wonder why they even added Song of Solomon in the Bible, but I get it, you know. We have a little sister and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in a day when she is spoken for? How dare you offend girls with small breasts? Is she a wall? He did not roast her by saying, is she a wall? This is actually really like crazy. This book is huge because it's by Ray Comfort. It's Evidence Study Bible. Anyways, guys, I am reading the 2nd book already. I'm gonna go back to reading and update you guys. I hope you didn't skip this because we read some juicy things. Alright, you're going to have to deal with my hair like this because it's annoying. I always try my best to make it look pretty, but it has a mind of its own. I just finished reading Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and I really don't know how to feel about this book. I think I'm still in shock. So I have my little notes in here. I rate this book a 3.5. But you just said it left you in shock. Like, why are you rating it a 3.5? So I'll explain. But before, I just want to say that actually a perfect song for this would be Never Really Over by Katy Perry. In chapter 28, he actually says, it's never really over. That's what made me think of it in the first place. In the beginning, the book was very slow and it was super hard to connect to a character. I couldn't really relate to a character like that. And so it just basically deals with Alexis and Daniel, them starting out as a fling. So you can picture the beginning of the book just being like smut and like getting together. They made it clear, they set the boundaries that they were not boyfriend, they were not girlfriends because they lived in different worlds. Alexis is super rich, she's a doctor, and then you have Daniel who's a carpenter. He takes care of his town. Okay, we're moving locations because some people just came over. So as I was saying, yeah, they knew that it wasn't gonna work out, and so it was actually supposed to be a one-time thing, and then it became an occurrence. I decided to give the book a chance because I was like, maybe it'll turn into something bigger. Like maybe they'll actually fall in love and get to know each other. You know, when you see those movies, city girls going to live in the country for the summer, and then, you know, they fall in love with like the country boy. I was like, maybe you'll fall into that line, and it actually kind of did. I wouldn't be surprised if it became a movie. That's how come this book didn't really get a 4, because of the beginning. It was super slow for me. I kind of had to force myself to get through it. I'm glad I did though, because it actually turned out really good. It picked up and it got juicy because it dealt with a lot of issues on abuse, family, toxicity, age gap. Then we have the classes, low income and high income. And I think that's what really added to the book, because it gave kind of real humane aspect to it. Because when it got to those issues, I'm like, like this is actually something that could exist in real life. It's not just a book, it's like more than a book. It kind of felt like a psychological experience, because, you know, they talk about what they learn in therapy and how to deal with certain things. I love how the writer expresses what's going on and how they're aware of what exactly is going on and what they can do, but it's hard because, like, how can you get out of an abusive relationship? How can you get out of a toxic household and things like that? Actually, too, I got reminded of a family member. The woman in this book is 10 years older than the guy in this book, and I have a family member who is dating a man who is 10 years younger than her. I'm like, I never really got to see it in that light, like the problems and issues that it could bring up. It must be sad. Not sad for them, like, oh, it must be sad. It must be sad because, like, it brings up the topic about the future. How will the future look like for them? Lastly, the ending was actually written beautifully, as I mentioned. And so far, this book has one of the best heartbreaks I've ever read in a book. My chest was aching. I couldn't believe it. Like, I just wanted to hug them, tell them that things will get better. I never been in a relationship, but the way that she described that feeling of heartbreak, she literally took me into the feeling of a heartbreak through the eyes of a couple. Wow, now I know how hard it is. Because to me, when people break up, I'm just like, oh, I'm sorry, things didn't work out. It's way much more than that. I don't think I ever want to go through that. Lord, protect my heart. I'm sorry. I also fell in love with the animals in the books as well. This is a baby goat, and I never even realized that there was a baby goat in this book. And there's also a dog named Hunter, who's a hunting dog. He reminds me of my dog because my dog was always jumping on people and things like that. And Hunter is the same way in the book too. I wouldn't really recommend it to someone, but I would definitely talk about it in case they want to read about the things that I've discussed. Abby Jimenez is a very interesting author. I actually want to read another book of hers. It's called The Happy Ever After Playlist. Came out 2020, has a 4.6. Part of Your World came out in 2022, and the rating is a 4.9 out of 5. The next and final read is All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox. I think it's better if you read the book first and then watch the movie, but actually, you know what? I read The Viscount Who Loved Me before season 2 came out, and it didn't live up to my expectations, so I'd rather watch the show and then read the book. I'm so excited. Guys, I just finished reading the book. I'm so excited because it has been a challenge to finish this book. I think it's been about 2 weeks, almost 3 weeks, just reading these 3 books. And the thing is, I'm a college student. I have a busy life. I just did this in between my time. But you know what? I'm proud of myself because I did 3 books. I think I finished one every week. Just like Taylor Jenkins Reid said, an utterly adorable pitch perfect romance. This was a super cheesy Christmas book. I think I actually really like it. For it to be a cliche Christmas book, it was actually pretty nice. It was a super cute book you could read anytime. It doesn't have to be on Christmas, on a plane, at the beach. It's a nice quick read and I really enjoyed it. I'm debating on what to rate it. I'm gonna rate it as if I'm rating a Christmas book. Not like a normal book, but like a Christmas romance book. Okay. I I think I rate this book a 3.8. I was debating whether I was gonna rate it a 4, but I feel like it didn't hit to that point. But a 3.8 is still pretty good. The only reason why I didn't give it a 4 is because it was written in third-person view, and I don't really like third-person view because I feel like it takes away the intimacy between the two. I wish it was first-person view, especially since the style of the book is written in Max's and Sadie's point of view. This is how each chapter looks. It has the name, a little cute style, and it has the dates and the location, which I thought was super cute. So I wish it could have been in the I point of view, first person view. Like Max could have talked about his feelings, but it was more like a narrated story, which I get. I think it is a Christmas book and it's nice to have like Santa Claus reading to us. And now I'm going to talk to you about the Christmas romance of Nashville, Tennessee. It felt not sincere just because it was someone telling their story. Of course, we got taken to their inner thoughts. The third person narrator talked about how they were feeling and everything, but I feel like it's different when they say I rather than they or he or she. I also didn't give it a 4 because these characters were very predictable. And I don't really like read cliche books, so it was interesting that I read this book. I didn't even think it was gonna be like a cliche, cheesy romance, honestly. It's like a Hallmark Christmas movie type book. There wasn't a lot of spiciness in this book, nor detail that got too uncomfortable. Of course, there was like kind of like a page. It was very tolerable. Sadie, she's a very sensitive, quirky, shy girl. That being said, she pushed her shyness away to go after her dreams. And this is actually a book where they've met before the contest. It's like enemies to lovers. You'll have to read it to see where the story went with that. Then we have Max. He's very guarded, ignorant, but super caring. There were a lot of arguments. I wish they could just talk about it. But you know what? It's like that with every like Disney movie or like Hallmark movie that you see. Like they don't really talk about their emotions. They like that little drama part of the movie where they're like, I gotta go my own way. But what about us? What about everything we've been through? And what about trust? You know I never wanted to hurt you. But what about me? Yeah. They have a moment like that at the end too. It was kind of cute. I just wish we could have gotten lyrics because you know this is a singing type book. We got some lyrics about the songs that they wrote. When they mentioned that they sang, I wish we got the whole page of the lyrics because they have certain pages where the press releases stories about them. Like this. Is Saxy a thing? So I was like, oh, that would have been cool. But other than that, it was still a very cute and cheesy romance that I would definitely recommend actually, even though it was a 3.8. I just think I'm a super picky person, but I have given books 5 stars. Promise you, I have. It's not that hard for me to give a book 5 stars. I guess it just depends on the type of person that you are, right? I can tell you that the Viscount Who Loved Me, I rated that one a 5 star. And there was smut in there, so it doesn't necessarily, just because it has smut in there, I'd give it a lower rating. It depends on the style and the way that you write the book. I just think Julia Quinn is amazing. She writes her books super good. I don't want to say too much about this book because I feel like you'd have to read it for yourself. A fun little read, and I don't regret reading this book. It was nice. 3.8. Alright guys, oh my gosh, I literally finished. Bye guys.